Oh, hello everyone. Thanks for tuning in. Sorry for very short delay. Welcome to our third session. You know the rules. You can ask questions through that chat facility on YouTube. If that for some of you doesn't work, just drop me an email and I will make sure you gets that. In any case, your trainer is ready, and I'm reliably informed that's been verified that he is in a laundry room at his brother's house. The temperature is even higher than outside. Hope you enjoy the lesson. Thanks.
Hi everyone. It's good to see you again. Yeah, sorry, I just couldn't find a good spot of internet except in the laundry room of my brother's place. So if I do get very hot and start sweating a lot, I do apologize, but I'll keep up with the session until the end because we got a lot to cover today. Last time we went through social media advanced searches, and I gave an exercise at the end, which in the beginning of this session I will go over, and then we'll jump into the image and video verification, and we'll be focusing on tools like image reverse search, but also I'll be doing a lot on geolocation, mainly the different tools you can do to do geolocation and go through step by step through one case of geolocation. And at the end of the session, I'll just, if I find it, it's on my computer. If I find it, I'll assign you the case directly. If not, I'll send it in the email straight after. But it's a geolocation task, the final task that you have to complete, and it's a good exercise because it uses all the techniques we'll be talking about today. So I'll start with the exercise I gave you last time. Here from my email. Let me share the screen first, and then you'll be able to see my emails. Well, I'll just read it out loud. So I ask you to build a Facebook formula in order to find people who like the page Belgrade, live in Belgrade, and visited London. Let me share the screen now. Someone, Nicola, sent me a reply, which was very good because it worked fine. I tested the formula and it was very good. So let me share the screen and we'll go through that formula. And I'll also give an example of a case you could have another formula you could have built, but which give exactly the same result. So normally you should be able to see my screen by now. And so that's the formula that, let me paste in the document so I can actually increase the size. So this is the formula we are looking at, which has all the components we'll see. Let's go step by step. So obviously you've got HTTPS or HTTP, doesn't matter, but actually for this one, let's see whether the HTTPS works. But it's always better to use HTTPS because it actually goes through the secure page. HTTP is unsecure, so I'll just add interestingly, yeah. So always, when you search for a website, always go through, or like you go on the website or you do a search for a website, always try to use the S because that makes sure you connect to the secure page. The HTTP is unsecure, and that could put you at risk. I know it's not we're supposed to do Facebook formula, but just a bit about digital security while we're there. But yeah, always put the S because it gets you to the secure. The HTTP is insecure, and you can potentially get hacked, etc., or get a virus on your laptop. So always have HTTPS. That's perfect. Facebook.com, obviously. And because you do a search, you're always going to start with the search. This number, or if I recall correctly, that should be the same number that I've used myself to build that formula, which is indeed the same. So this is the page for residents of Belgrade, and that was asking for present. The string actually here is not necessarily needed, str, and normally when you search into a post, so you could actually remove that one. But I mean, it still work with it. So let's leave it for the formula work. Let's leave it for now, but you don't have to necessarily have it. And that's the page I assign. Likers, obviously, as you say, the people who like that page. and users who check in, which is good. This is one option. You can use users who check in London. This is the number for London. Or you could use visitors as well, people who have visited. But if we put this formula right now in here, it shows that it functions because it goes people who check in at London, which is fine. Visitors check in for me it means the same thing in a way, and like Belgrade, the page, and live in Serbia, and we find those. If I go back, the final results were those 3 people, which is perfect. So now I'll just go through the entire process so you remember how we do it. But obviously my first, so I built. Let's start over so you know every single step of it. Because now, so I would have https facebook.com search. Then what I'm interested in is obviously people who like the page Belgrade. So I'm going to go to that page, and here I don't have the number, so I can just I can use graph tips, which we looked at it before. Graph tips, here you have the address, an ID from Henk van Hess, and you can put here, if you put the username and you add it, this gives you a Facebook unique identification, the unique ID which you need for your formula. So we copy it, we go back to your document, we paste that ID in there. Oops. And then increase that. And then sorry, it's getting really hot in here. And then after that, so we have the formula, we have the number, so we want the likers of this page, and then we want people who've live currently in Belgrade. So this time I need a location. So I go to Belgrade, and I want place. If I go to places, here I have Belgrade place, which give me directly a number to use. So I can just copy it. I don't even need to bother. And here I did here. And I want residents of Belgrade, so people who live currently in Belgrade and present. And the final part of my formula is going to be people who visited London. So again, I need to go London, the place. Oops, not pages, but place. And here it comes London. And again, here I have the number directly, so I can just copy it and paste it here. And I want people, so I could have checked in, as was used by Nicolas, which functioned very well. But I could also put visitors for people who visited. And at the end, we don't forget the intersect, because you've put 3 parameters. If it's only 1, you don't need the intersect. But if it's more than so 2 and plus, you need that. And if I put in here, people who visited London, United Kingdom, and like the page Belgrade and live in Belgrade, and to confirm that Nicolas' formula work well, if we compare, we see again 3 people, and those are the same people that we found here. So that functions perfectly. I think maybe that's something I want to try right now, to determine whether you can use the page directly Belgrade, because maybe you might not have to use the place. So let's try and see if we can use the page, which I already have the number here, just to test if we can use the residence of a page. See, I think that doesn't work. That doesn't work so well, because you need the place in order to have the residents or the visitors, etc. So that was how you could get to the answer. But now let's move to verification, image and video verification. And for that one, we'll start with image reverse search. So if we go on twitter.com, well, first, before going into twitter.com, you need to install a tool that's called Revi, which I mentioned during the training in Belgrade. and which enables you, here we go, it's an extension on Chrome, but also on Firefox, if I recall correctly. And what it do is it enables you to do an image reverse search on different search engines. So, you can do a Google image reverse search. If you go on Google, if you go on Yandex, you can do one, but this just combines all of them into one, which is just easier to do. And if we go on Twitter, how it functions is it's very straightforward. And find any picture. So let's say Wednesday quiz, for example, they put a picture. I'll talk about that after, but the quiz time is a great place if you want to train for verifications via geolocation. But I'll mention that at the end when I wrap up with tools I can flag, and also how you can train yourself to be better at geolocation. But for this one, we'll just do, for example, an image reverse search on this image. Let's say it might have been edited, I don't know, I need to verify it. So I'll drop down, I do right click first, and then go down to reverse image search. And obviously I want to search through all the engines, but if I want to be picky and choose just one, I can as well, I have the option. But I open it all. And Google is obviously gonna, so here it's detecting that it's a door of a home, but as you can see, that image hasn't been indexed by Google. I can't see it here. But here there are some doors. Maybe one of them is the good one. I could spend some time try to compare what I see in the image, etc. But there's Yandex sometimes. So sometimes if you can't find it on Google, Yandex is pretty amazing if you don't find it via the Google image reverse search. So it's likely Yandex might find the answer, which could be in there. So I need to spend some time looking at it, but the answer might be there. But this is how you can easily find sort of try to see if the image has been edited or where originally the image comes from. Because sometimes you see people use the image and then spin it, use it with a different title that's definitely not about the image or something like that. And I've got also TinEye here. TinEye is, as you can see here, it doesn't have any results. It's not as powerful in terms of the number of images it has indexed. But what's good about TinEye is when you have an image, let me find an image that actually TinEye has registered. Let us say, let's pick this one and just do a TinEye on this one. Also TinEye is going to search if the image exists before, whereas Google and Yandex are going to use algorithm to maybe try. So here, for example, Google, they use an algorithm to say, okay, this looks like they detected that it's a door of a home, or it looks like more like a bunker or something like that. But they detected it's a door of something. That's not what Yandex does. Yandex is just going to try to see if the image has existed before. And here, for example, the image. There's a version of the image or an image that looks very similar. And what's good with TinEye is you can do by oldest or newest, you can order, not necessarily by best match. And here it's interesting because it looks like if it is indeed the same picture, we'll have to compare, but if it's in the same picture, it looks like this one has been slightly edited compared to this one. But it looks like it might have been actually at different times. But yeah, this is how it looks, but how you do your simple image reverse search on an image to verify it. Another technique is obviously geolocation. And for geolocation, we use different tools to do so. We will have Google Earth Pro, so I advise you download Google Earth Pro. Here it is. We would have also Google Maps, which we may use. We can use Wikimapia as well, because obviously when you do geolocation, you need, as I was showing with the case in Paris, if you remember, the case of the jihadists, or the Islamic State, sorry, were asking for a campaign, social media campaign for people to support them. Actually, I'll just bring the image up now. should be in the slides. Yes, it's here. If you remember that image, obviously the first part of geolocation is to reduce the range. So in that one, I had tricked you. I didn't tell you it was Paris before, but you could have used ways to refine the range. You know, looking at cities, this is a European city, etc. But ways to sometimes, so sometimes you don't know the name of the towns, and you need to find the location. But sometimes you might have some information. Let's say you might know the name of the town, or you might know that there is a military base near the town or something like that. So if you go to Wikimapia, here it's a crowdsourced platform where people have entered names of town, etc. So it's likely that maybe the name of the town you're interested in is present. And if we go to, for example, region Quito, but I have to go manually there. This is a case I've worked on Venezuela, where there was a leader of a rebellion in Venezuela who was killed by the government security forces. Hatred security forces raided the house where that person was hiding. And if we go, for example, it really helped me the fact that there was people. I had it, yeah, Pueblo y Quito, that people had. So all this information is information entered by people, and that could help you when you do your investigation. You know, there's some information you might not know about, and people have entered. So, for example, in our case, the event was taking place in El Ronquito, which was, I had it just right under my eyes. Yeah, Parroquia El Ronquito. Here we go. So we know the event was taking place in El Ronquito, and even it was great to have Wikimapia because there was, so the event took place actually here. I know it took place in El Ronquito, but I also seen that it was taking place in the Urbanización Araguaney. That was information that was given about the case. And so therefore, when I look at El Ronquito, it really helped me even more to reduce the range, because I was trying to geolocate pictures and videos that were filmed outside and within the safe house during the day of the assault. So this is, for example, the platform we had created at the end with the safe house. And there were, as you can see here, if I scroll down, a lot of videos and images that were both filmed inside and outside the safe house. And so I needed to reduce the range of the safe house because I didn't know exactly where the geographical range, because I didn't know exactly, people were working out, Giancarlo and myself, we didn't know exactly where the safe house was located. And so to have Wikimapia in a sense really helped, because we knew it was El Quito roughly, but then we had heard it was Urbanización Araguaney, and then when we got to El Quito, directly Urbanización Araguaney, was defined here. And so we knew that the safe house we were looking at were within that location. So that's how you can reduce your range with the Wikimapia, for instance. But if you have the name of a town, I would advise you use geonames, which, for example, we had the case which I presented in Belgrade was about Cameroon, an investigation I did on Cameroon with the BBC, where we had name of the towns that we couldn't find otherwise. We couldn't find more information about them. So, for example, it was the town of Kuke. I couldn't find anything online. Well, there barely any information about that. There were maybe articles, etc., about the town, but there were barely any information about the exact location of it. So when I entered Kuke, Cameroon, he gave me 2 results. Your work, I remember your work on this case. I assigned you one of the video to geolocate, and whether it was in Kuke or not, or Azi, it was the question. But in that sense, yeah, I wanted to see if where Kuke could be placed, and that gave me 2 options. And when I compare what I saw on the, obviously this poor quality, but then I went to TerraSaver, which provide you need to pay to have a license in order to view satellite imagery. I think it's about $200 per year, but then you can view high-res imagery. So when, for example, I was given that location, so let's say that first location, I could just copy the coordinates, go to Terra server, paste those coordinates, and as you can see here, Terra server offer me high resolution. So I think that's the village, it's a bit further down, of Kuke. And it was even in, I think OpenStreetMap Kuke was visible as well. But it gave me high resolution images of Kuke. And when I compared that to the video I had of the town of Kuke on fire, we at the BBC could sort of geolocate exactly where that video was filmed, and it was precisely in this spot, and this part was burning down in this part as well. And so that's how you can verify a video using and an image as well, using geolocation. But to walk you through a concrete case instead of being just showing the tools. One thing I must say before, sorry, things come to my mind as I speak, but a good tool as well, which we discussed, someone mentioned, and I remember at the Belgrade talk, and I had forgot to mention that tool, which came out a couple of weeks ago, actually, but geolocates this. It enables you to enter information. So you want there is a place you're looking, for example, latitude, you put the longitude, you put the radius, and you can search for keyword, or you can search by category. What it does is trying to help you. If you know, for example, that let's say there was a case I worked on a couple of years ago, where there was two French jihadists involved in an execution in Iraq. The execution was taking place in Mosul, but at first I didn't know it was taking place in Mosul. But there was interestingly a pizzeria that was visible in the video, and that was the biggest clue to help me geolocate. But obviously at the time that tool didn't exist, but this is just to give you an example. You could give the sort of the coordinates where a place in that case I didn't know it was taking place in Mosul, so it wouldn't work so much, but this is just to give you the idea. If you know the rough area of Mosul, for example, you could put the coordinates of Mosul in the town, and then you can search for pizzeria, so you know it would be a restaurant. Here, if it comes further down, there should be restaurant. Yeah, restaurant here, and maybe find another place. Let's say if you had seen something else, you know. So I don't know if there was, let's say, a bookstore or a shopping mall where you see the name, you could put the second word and the second category you're interested, and maybe the rough distance you estimate, and it should help you find that information on Google. So that can be quite useful to find two specific places that are in the similar location that could help you pin down something. With geolocation, keep in mind that sometimes you might have find the place, but you want. Let's say what's interesting is once you have the name of the town. Let's say you've had a video, you managed to geolocate to a place, but once you have the name of the town, what you can do is try to place it into Google. So let's say keeping with Kuke. So it was Kuke and Bomo, the exact name of the town. But if I place it into Facebook or Twitter, I can try to find more images related to Kuke and Bomo. So this because we did the report, these are images from a report, but it's possible you might find images related to the village you are interested in or the location you're investigating. But if I walk through a direct case, sorry, just very hot here. But if I walk through a direct case, so let's go back to the example of the rebel in Venezuela that was killed, extrajudicially killed by security forces on the 15th of January 2018. I would like, for example, there was this video. So there was, if it plays, here we go. So I had this video of a, as you will see, RPG strike on the safe house. And we were actually, in our investigation, we needed to have every little piece of information, because to build that sort of model that you see and to investigate the day, we had so many pieces of videos and photos that we needed to place them in time and in space. So this one was on the video, one of the video we had, but you can see at the bottom here, those are all the pieces of evidence we had, and we wanted to place them in space and in time. And so the first thing was to find the safe house. And obviously, as I told you, we managed to reduce the location to this using Wikimapia. But now if I were to put that in Google Maps, here we go. So this is the Urbanización Araguanay. And so we started to look at different possibility, looking back at that video and the other videos we had. So if I go back to the video which was here, we could see that there were 3 buildings following each other. The safe house was near a hill going up. So using Google Maps, we know it's here. We could start looking at the inclination of the hill, for example. It's important to use the topography or the physical geography in the landscape, how it went. So we knew it was somewhere along the ridge, and it was on the side where the ridge was going down. So and it was also a green space, so we could reduce the range to the places that were the different houses that are on this side. So we kept looking at different options. But also one thing you had to notice is those buildings were being, looks like they were under construction. So there was another clue as to what you were looking at, which were places being in construction. So even better, with Google Maps is good, but here it let me introduce even better. You can go to Google Earth. And if I go to the location, what's great is with Google Earth, I can go back to historical imagery. So when I go to Google Earth, use the clock at the top, press on it, and then it gives you that sort of that bar with different dates. And so you can go back in time and see how the place look like at different time. And I was saying, we're looking for buildings on construction, and this event, we knew the date of this event. We knew it took place around the 15th of January 2018. Therefore, for example, let's say 6th of January, we didn't have that time, but we had the 3rd of January. So we're looking for buildings under construction and a safe house. And at some point we got to this location, which were quite interesting. We had other visual. I'm obviously, because of the time, I'm jumping a lot of stages, and that took much longer, but we got to this location. Interestingly, that's been posted after, but this is someone posted location of the chalet of Oscar Perez. Oscar Perez is the man who was likely to be extrajudicially executed in the safe house with 6 other members of his team, and that's actually the safe house they raided. So that's here, for example. This is a massive clue. Someone just posted a picture of the safe house and say it's here, but hey, we still need to verify it. So if we're looking at the video again, we can see we have flat roof, and then another one in construction, and then the safe house and some buildings at the back. So we are definitely looking, in that direction. So we definitely somewhere like this, and looking that if I was looking, so we're on the side of the hill, we're looking in that direction. with a place where they see a flat roof, and there's, if you see as well, a big piece is there is a lot of green between the two, and there's some trees at the back. And here I had, interestingly, one roof, likely to be the safe house, one roof that's under construction, and then another one with a lot of grass in between, and not a lot of grass, I mean a lot of vegetation in between, sorry. And here I also see some trees. So it looks like it does align perfectly, but what was good as well is we had other videos that we could use. Let me see if I find another one that was really helpful. Because we could track even the path that the soldiers and the military took, which road they took, etc., to get to the location. So yeah, we had, this video was really useful. Another piece of evidence, because he showed, let me put that in full screen. It showed another side, so it's taken from the other side. It showed, as you see, one building before, then another building here, and then we're moving towards the safe house. So we have a nice visual on the safe house. And before the visual on the safe house, what we saw is that building with the red thing on top, that one. And that one, we could actually see that this was this building. Let me see if I find better imagery where you can see the red on the roof. You can sort of guess it, although not perfect. Sorry, the platform is really slowing down my computer. But yeah, so we could find another angle where we had this building next to the safe house. And so things started to align. You know, we could find this building. There was this building with little sort of poles of concrete sticking out that we sort of can see some of them here. And then this building from which the camera, where they were, you know, in the video where they are firing the RPG, it was actually filmed from here, looking down that way. And we could corroborate that with different videos. So this is the steps you need to take. You know, like we look at how things are aligned in space and what clues are. So, for example, the clues here were the roofs being under construction, the vegetation in between, the safe house. Maybe other videos as well from different angles. So, you know, when you find a video, the first thing I'll do in geolocation is when I find a video that needs to be verified, is first try to see, you know, search on Facebook, search on Twitter, if I'm giving a name of the town or etc., is to try to collect more information about that place and compare what I see in other pictures to what I see in the video. And that's what we did. You know, when we started to have a location, we look for more videos or images taken from different angles. So the one I show you being from far was taken from way down on the other side here with the zoom, looking down that way. And that's how, you know, playing with those, you can geolocate, compare the features, compare the way the landscape is. So we could see in the video it was downhill. So I'll just close it. And my computer is getting hot as well, so it's just it's burning. But yeah, for example, you can see the landscape here was really useful to find out the location. There is another case I was going to discuss, which I didn't. Yeah, I don't think I discussed. I can go through that. That was a pretty interesting geolocation, which was crowdsourced as a final example. That's a really good one, actually. And it all came out when this is funny because the person who tweeted that is currently my boss at the BBC, but at the time he tweeted that, I didn't know him. And he made that post. Can you help find where in the British Virgin Islands this video was shot? It was someone from the BBC who had his family went on holidays to the British Virgin Islands, and there was a storm, and they hadn't given news to the husband who was in which I think it was the husband or the wife. I'm not sure who was in the BBC, but one of them. And that person didn't have news from their family for 2 days after there was this big hurricane that went by. And so the only clue was this video. But there are a lot of interesting clues already in that video. You see the shape of the hill on the other side, the parts or section of the house, which could help. So that's what, yeah, exactly. So on the other side of the ocean, those islands, very, very, very useful. And so Elliot, the founder of Bellingcat, obviously tried to started working on geolocated, but also thought, hey, why not crowdsource it? Ask people on Twitter to help. And so he started sharing the post, and someone came up with, look, this Google view, this Google Earth view is interesting because it looks like the island on the other side so it's taken from Havers, and the island of the other side look quite similar to the one you see on the video. And indeed, using Google Earth, when you position yourself on the island of Havers and go to the Google Earth view, terrain view, you see those, I'll play it again. You see those islands which are look indeed very similar. Their sort of footprint is very similar to what we saw in the video. But using a tool that's called EcoSec, you're starting to look for more picture. I mentioned EcoSec, and this interesting picture came out from Havers, so that's the islands. This one came out, and if you compare what you see in that image from 2013 to a shot of the video, the feature or the footprint of the hill on the other side really match very well. But another clue with those things, so it looks like it could have been taken from the island Havers, very likely, because on the other side we've got the sort of the shape of the islands on the other side match well, and then we had those other features on the house. And so we knew it couldn't be there. That looked very industrial. So it should have that support here. So it couldn't be there. It's in the middle of, you can see some trees around. So it's somewhere more likely to be around this residential, but yet quite a lot of forest area. And so luckily there were posts about houses that were being sold in the town of Havers in the British Virgin Islands. And Elliot from those images, and interestingly, it matched very well with the wooden bars. And here on the top, same sort of the terrace on the top was matching. And so the conclusion was it was actually either this house on the left or this house on the right. And that's how, again, it's very interesting how just at the beginning, just the finding, what's great with Google Earth imagery is you can find, as I showed before with the case of Oscar Perez in El Ronquito, if I go back to it's like you can see obviously Google Earth presents you the features and the shapes of the landscape, and if you compare that to what you can see on the video, on an image, let's say other let's say it's a mountain, or again here it was a case of the island. If you compare the two, then that can help you potentially geolocate a piece and then verify it. And how you get to the ground view, you just have to keep clicking until you hit near the location, and this is ground view. So let's say if compare it to the image I have of this location, etc. So that's how you get you get to the ground view. And also, while I'm on it on Google Maps, obviously, very key is street view. There's another case I wanted to show. I don't think I gave it to. I don't think I gave it to this group. Because I still have time, so that's perfect. Another case I wanted to show is, yeah, in order to get, first I'll talk, in order to get to street view, for example, Shepherd Bush, near where I live, all you need is go down here, take the little guy, and drag it. So lines are going to be street view, where you can move. So where the Google car or the Google bike cycle, went and took picture. And the little circles are images people took. But if I want to go to street view, I just drop the guy here, and this is the street view. And if I click on the clock here, I can go back or go so say see it in 2017. So that's how I was in 2017, but I can go back in time. So in March 2017, and that's how it was. I can go to July 2014, etc. I can move back in here because obviously places evolved over time. So that's how you can compare. And a case which I gave to another group and that I have here is, for example, the image of Sharon Stone. I forgot if I gave it to the group of Belgrade, but the image of Sharon Stone in the Taj Mahal. And when people see that pictures, obviously they think she's very close to the Taj Mahal. But if you use street view, you can actually, the camera uses zoom, so that's where it gets tricky. But if you use street view here, because obviously it would be hard otherwise, you have to compare. You could potentially get it by comparing, the bushes you see, but if you place yourself in street view on the platform and compare it to the image, I see those bushes at the end of it, which are visible here, and she's actually standing on the platform. That's why she looks a bit above, and with a zoom in more or less like this. But here what is funny is a group I gave that task to made a great notice something well is you look at this image, and if you look closely on this image, you see the fence here at the bottom. So I'll just increase the size so I can show you, but the fence here at the bottom is different. It's a triangle, right? Near a bush. But on that image here, I don't have a triangle near those bushes. So but that's the correct location though. So people, when they found it, they're like, oh, but I discarded that location because I couldn't find the fence with the triangle. But obviously places evolve in time. And here, if you go back to December, you can actually see that triangle. So that was an interesting case because indeed she had visited in 2013 the Taj Mahal. And so by looking at that and difference in the fence, you could even potentially time where she visited. So that keep in mind the clock and how places evolve, that can help you when you do geolocation. Some about verification, some good resources. You have the verification board, quiz time. Every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, Saturday, one of those person, which you have the account, will give you a challenge, a verification challenge in the term of the quiz. And they look like this. For example, Christian Tribert does the one on Thursday. And I think it's on Saturday, on Sunday, they have a guest on top. So also, if you have a challenge to give to people, feel free to reach out to me and I can put you in touch with the person that created the verification quiz bot. But that's how it look. They put a picture. Actually, I give you one exercise that I give you, if you recall, in Belgrade, the train, the one with the station and trying to find which train the person had taken, it was from the verification quiz bot. So this is how I work. and they put a picture, and you can reply. You can collaborate with people. You only send the answer to the message to the person who tweeted it, so it doesn't get shared and people can't cheat. And if you want others to practice with you, you can retweet and follow. I strongly advise you follow, because those are fun exercise to train you in geolocation and to apply. So Julia Bayer, she's the one who founded it, but they are great exercise to train you in geolocation and how geolocation can help you verify pictures and images. Some other resources it's in the document I sent you, but the Bellingcat Digital Forensic Tool, if you go on there, it has, if you go to Map, Satellite, and Street View, those are all the platforms you can use to help you with geolocation. It's very useful. Geo-based searches as well, like EcoSec, all those ones are going to help you with geolocation. And so maybe others like this, but do look at it. A final tool that I need to mention beyond geolocation is Invid. Actually, I have it's an extension again. It's a tool that I mentioned before. And if you copy and paste a video from YouTube or Facebook, it gives you a big context about that video. You can use Invid to create keyframes of thumbnails from a video, and from which those keyframes are in thumbnails, you can do a reverse image search. And there is Twitter Advanced Search, but that's the same as Twitter Advanced Search that you find on Twitter, etc. But analysis can give you when exactly a video was uploaded, and then it's good to have the keyframe and thumbnails, which offer you the opportunity to do a reverse image search from thumbnails and keyframes of that video you would have done. That, I think, covers it all. The exercise I wanted to give you, I'll show you right now, but I'll stop sharing my screen because I need to open something in order to see it. As you see, I'm super hot in this room. This was a good session, good training with the heat. Let me find that. If I can get access to that picture, because it's on my WhatsApp. But it looks like it doesn't work. So let's go to the question. And somehow I can't access my WhatsApp on my computer. But let's go to the question, and I will send you the image that you need to verify using geolocation. I will send that by the end of the evening. So are there any questions? Let me go to the messages. Sorry, Tiro, I can't hear you. I still can't hear you. Oh, you muted your microphone.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Perfectly, yeah.
I'm afraid no questions during this session.
Okay, perfect. Well, I can just wrap it up if there aren't any question and send the exercise later tonight. But that covers it all. We've looked at geolocation, image reverse search, and Invid. But I'll send an exercise to practice geolocation, and I do highly recommend you follow quiz time in order to find more exercise for verification via geolocation. And if there are any questions, please do send them by email, obviously.
Thank you, Ayum. Thank you all for attending. Thank you for your effort. This is our final formal session in this stage of the project. Milka and I will be in touch towards the end of August or in early September about other activities in the project. Meantime, you can get in touch with us with any questions regarding what we've learned. Okay, I wish you a very pleasant summer and hopefully see you soon. All the best. Bye.